I've really enjoyed it. I think it's been kind of difficult at certain points and then kind of fun and crazy at certain points. I think it's probably been quite different from what I expected. And I'm not really sure what we've done or achieved, or, I mean, yeah, I'm not really sure what has kind of come out of this process in terms of what the kind of the project outline and open call said. I think it became a lot more about just the kind of specific dynamics of our group rather than maybe kind of reimagining some ideal kind of sense, like ideal kind of form of community or a city or something. And I think maybe it's the role that not having internet or phones, or we didn't watch any films or listen to music or look at the time. I think maybe that helped kind of cultivate quite a kind of mad energy amongst us. I didn't really know, to be honest. I guess I thought it would be a lot more kind of calm and civilized than it ended up. I thought maybe we'd be kind of having quite long, subdued discussions every day, and yeah, everyone would kind of, you know, everyone would have their activity, and that would get kind of implemented each day in a more kind of formal structure that I guess felt like a kind of extended workshop or kind of more educational program or something. Yeah, so I think, yeah, it definitely ended up very different to how I imagined. And I mean, I was concerned about just like being in a tiny space with a bunch of people that I didn't really know for a week. But that was actually fine, and I think we all kind of found an interesting rhythm together. And yeah, so what I had anticipated would be really difficult as time went on was actually kind of was fine. We found a way to work as a group. Definitely last night doing this, I mean, I had kind of suggested the idea of doing a play where we kind of have these characters and then maybe a very loose kind of framework narrative type thing, but the kind of like yeah, it just had such a kind of intense energy that I wouldn't have expected, and also kind of just not even having a moment to kind of read a book myself, and constantly creating these kind of odd activities to do together. I can't think of anything else. Yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting to kind of go away and think again, and then yeah. I really like everyone a lot, and I think it's been weird to see kind of different people become kind of relaxed with the situation at different points in time, and kind of see how certain people kind of struggled with certain aspects of it, and other people struggled with very different aspects of it.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything anymore.
Okay.
I honestly feel like my brain has just gone into a different dimension.
Yeah, I think it's like the whole process for me was really interesting experience. I enjoyed inhabiting the space with the other participants, but kinda still like coming back to this conversation that I felt like, at least in the beginning, I felt that there is not much of the meaning of what is happening here in a way. uh, and it's different from like purpose, because like purpose is like probably some sort of precise thing that we would had to achieve or something. But yeah, but it's not like even about the purpose. It's more about the meaning of why we are in this place, in this gallery. And it's also connected to the viewer, because it's not like we just went somewhere into the wild or into the forest and then like stayed there together for 1 week, and no one else except us would know that we were there or would see the product of our communal being. But here, like, the situation, at least for me, I kind of perceive it a little bit differently, because definitely it's like a gallery space, so it's like an exhibition space, and definitely there would be some sort of viewer who would enter the space. And yeah, and for me it's like what this viewer would see when she enters the space, like what kind of meaning we transmitted to this viewer. And I feel like definitely there are a lot of meanings that happened during our like our stay, in the way that the space represents of like, yeah, of our collective kind of existence in the space. So yeah, there are meanings, but it feels like it went more like, I don't know, it wasn't really negotiated in a way, yeah, at least with the language. So it wasn't like we decided that we want to convey some like certain meaning. It was more an abstract, I don't know, like spontaneous kind of thing. And yeah, and for me it's just also quite hard to distinguish like our presence here, that we spent like this 5 days or almost 7 days that we spent here, and what is happening outside, in the outside world, in a way. Because like, I mean, we still came here with our experiences from the outside world, and we still like know that like there is something happening there. And yeah, and we just like decided to ignore, in a way, it, not to talk about it a lot. And yeah, I somehow feel like this disconnectedness, in a way, with these kind of political and social struggles which are happening right now there, that we kind of ignore them in order to focus on our own processes and on our own relationship between each other, which is kind of nice, but it's also like super self-focused. I mean, I didn't have any expectations. Like, I mean, like, I just kind of maybe imagine. I mean, yeah, I think I imagined it like it will be a little bit different. That we still kind of will be reflecting together on what is, on kind of. I know that we won't really decide to cut ourselves off from the outside world. I mean, in the sense of the internet, for sure, we decided to do that, and then we don't go outside. But in general, like, that we will think about the actual like situations, challenges, or the actual kind of ways how the society is organized already, in a way, like if it's a city or if it's like some society or if it's like a state, then they'll kind of dedicate more time into like deconstructing this sort of already existing entities, and then maybe try to build something different. But I just kind of thought that it would be more I don't know, more like self-aware, like what we are doing, like what we are building together, in a way, also in opposition in what is already there. Yeah, I think it would, I thought it would be more like this, in a way. And like, I kinda felt that during our stay we went in a little bit different direction. I mean, still kind of for sure we dedicated some time to discussing these things, but still we kinda at a certain point was kinda decided just to focus on ourselves and become like more I don't know, autonomous, or I don't know the proper how to say it in English, like enclosed. Enclosed kind of community that we're just more concerned about ourselves in a way, and about the process of our of building our relations within the space and this time. Surprises. I don't know, actually. I think no. I mean, definitely, like the whole thing is like a surprise in a way, like what we've built, and then also like this last night. But yeah, I mean, definitely it was like impressive. I didn't expect that at all. So I did. It's not like because like also my previous comments. Not I want to say that what we did is not worth it. I mean, definitely it's interesting experience. It's just different, maybe a little bit from what I expected. But then the whole other kind of experience that actually happened surprised me, and in a way, in a positive way as well. That's for sure. It's interesting because it also says something about us and about, I don't know, about the time, or like the time, like why kind of bunch of artists or like cultural workers come into a space, and then they inhabit it in this certain way, and how they kind of like so it certainly tells something about us and about the time, and also like the way how we like constructed the space, but also like how we interacted with the space and with each other, like through the play. And I was really surprised. I didn't expect that, kind of. I don't know why, but I expected something different. So in general, the whole experience was a big surprise. I would say that. I think it would be nice. I mean, it's kind of, maybe I would love to disassemble everything in the space and then try to assemble it again, but think about maybe like a different form of doing this. So like have more experiment, maybe more time for different ways of approaching the space, and also like our collective collective entity, collective body, like us in the space. So I don't know. I mean, I don't have any precise ideas of how I would want everything to look like, and I think it's also nice that it didn't went the way I would imagine it would go, because then it also tells a lot about, or at least like then it tells about group dynamics in a way, because it's not like it should have been like something that I imagined. What I mean, it's not like people just like followed what I would say, or like it just happened as I thought it will happen. So I really feel it's interesting experience how like this group dynamics was created, and then how eventually it went to some other direction that I didn't expect. But I think it would be really nice just maybe to have more time to experiment, and maybe try to start all over again, like just to, I don't know, like dismantle everything and then start building again. I think so, but maybe.
Okay.
I think that's it.
I think I'm really liking this experience. It's definitely a learning process, but I think being isolated with people, of course in a way it feels like we're very privileged, spoiled kids, grown-ups trying to pretend to escape obligations or something, but at the same time it feels like there is something serious and something of use that we're doing here, and I like that. I like that the connections that we have between each other. I like the synergies and the level of experimentation, and I think what I like the most is these moments where we are each doing our own thing, yet it comes together into a larger thing. it's really hard to know what to expect, because in a way I've been thinking for so long about this project, and I didn't know how it was going to work out. I didn't know what the vibe of the group was going to be like. I didn't even know if we would have enough food or enough materials. I guess my expectations have been surpassed in most ways, and I really enjoy the way I really enjoy the way things have turned out. In a way, I came here with just a piece of paper with 4 things on it, and that was my whole agenda for a week. One of the things was welcome, another one was no internet, and the other one was no living, and the 4th one I forgot. So in a way there was a lot of room for expectations, but also no expectations at all. But I'm really happy with the way things have come out. Big surprise. Yeah, I think for me that exercise we did, building in silence, and then how that triggered a form of spatial arrangement was definitely a big surprise. I felt that this could unleash a new form of creating spaces at a domestic or communal level. Particularly also how afterwards, when we were all talking, we went much faster because we had a goal and we were trained to work with a goal in mind. And but how we needed that initial kind of chaotic and individual yet collective experience in silence. Yeah. Oh, I really like the group. Yeah. I think it's very cohesive. Of course, you know, with these things, one is always thinking the open call is written in a certain language, not only in English, but I mean using certain words. It's distributed through certain channels, and it's demanding in the sense that people need to be able to take time off from their existence. So clearly this attracts and gathers a certain crowd of people. And of course, although the applications were completely anonymous and there was no way for us in the jury to tell who was applying, the jury also has its own preconceived ideas or is expecting or looking for specific answers. So that is how a configuration of people is created. I wonder if we had a different jury, or if we had if the open call had been written by someone completely different, what kind of people would have come? I'm also thinking a lot of having possible reiterations, having more foundations. Because in a way, foundation is not so much about one city. We're not going to form a city or a very solid community, these 6 people. But I think rather it's about founding a set of practices, a set of ways of being, I would say a set of ways of relating in the territory. And that is something that I really enjoy. What do you feel? It's true there was not much alone time.
Yeah.
And it's true that, it seemed like there was sometimes an unnatural energy for everything to be together. But it's interesting because at night you could really feel how everyone slept wherever they wanted. We've never slept in the same room. But it's true that I don't know if there was a lot of time for us to do our own thing alone. I mean, some people did. I mean, they did their construction by themselves or something, but they were still in the same room. Yeah, this is a good observation. I guess it comes from wanting to maximize the experience that is just 1 week. Perhaps if it was a month, there would be a lot more alone time.
All my thoughts till now are really focused on each person on the universe of every of the participant. We spent a lot of time to talking with each other, and those days are happening in the flow of talking and sharing our experience, our knowledge that we have before, and it's quite intense and interesting to spend those days to come closer with others. And I think it's something really special that we have this moment all together. I must admit that I didn't expect like really nothing at all what it will be, because I didn't kind of apply to be a part of foundation. For me it was something really unexpected, so I didn't create any images in my head, and I was waiting for people, but I even asked Eduardo not to tell me who will be like other 4 people. I really was waiting for a surprise here, and I get it, the surprise. I think it's all about the time that we are spending together and the way how we were starting to do something per each of person really separately, and through all the days we became closer and closer, and this energy appears, and I'm wondering how it will be through all other days. This is something interesting and special, how all these kind of closed circles merge in a common form that it's possible also to see in that space, that you can't see just the spot with the sleeping bags, but you can see some kind of forms appearing, crossing each other, and I think it could be interesting to even push it more. In general, I think that it's not so simple to tell it in general. Each of the person is such an individual with their own stories and lines, and it was really like a first feeling that each of them have something individual to bring inside, and even if with Ilya we are coming from the same area, from Ukraine, from Kiev, we have so many things to share, and this all the talks are pushing more and more information through our heads, and it's really interesting how we have also this kind of percentage. There's more girls than boys also in the group that maybe influence also the energy inside. I'm wondering if it will be half and a half or more boys than girls inside. This is also something interesting if we are talking like globally. And I think we have not many time to be with each other. Like those, this week is not big period to all of us, but it's really nice that each night we are spending at least 1 hour with a different person individually, talking and asking each of us a question, which Eduardo was making as a game, 37 questions, when you can get like more information and you can have this easy talk in eyes and eye with a person. And it's really nice we have kind of this tradition for every night to spend it just with one of fundators. And this is something like a special moment in the end of the day.